Unafraid Show. It's your boy, George Reister in the building. You know we come every weekend after the college football day is wrapped up. We are the last people around. And for all you people who were watching Pac-12 After Dark, this is for you. All you people who spent your entire Saturday watching college football like me, this is for you. We got a bunch of great things up for you guys today. We're going to release the top 10, the college football top 10, right in just a couple seconds. Also, we're going to have a recap of the Pac-12. Send all your questions in. I'll get to them. And also, if you have any questions, comments, anything, send it into I'm Mad, IMMAD, at unafraidshow.com. First of all, we got a little bit of business to take care of. Because after every Oregon game, I send out a tweet for everybody to either send in a meme or a GIF or 3 words to describe the game. And we had 2 winners. We had 2 winners for the game today, so I'm giving out 2 BGDU shirts. Giving out 2 of them. Don't get ducked up. Giving out 2 of these shirts. And the first one goes to, Duck on a Bike. Duck on a Bike at Heart Sock Rob. And then the other winner is at Wake to Wake 73. You guys DM me. I will get your shirts in the mail. Hope you guys enjoy them. And if you guys want one, you can find one on unafraidshow.com. Hit the shop button and y'all there too. I would like to start out today, toot my own horn a little bit because your boy was right on the money today. Every game I picked except for the Alabama game was spot on. Alabama actually did win by 29 points, which I was completely surprised by. But Georgia and LSU, people have been like bashing me all week long, all month long when I have said that Georgia, who canceled on Oregon, is not as good as people think they are. They're not the number 2 team in the nation. They haven't played anybody. And that's what you saw today. They weren't battle tested. They lost to LSU, and now they are completely out of the college football playoff unless they beat Florida, end up in the SEC championship, and then turn around and beat Alabama. That's not happening. You guys swipe up, share the feed, tell a friend about the Unafraid Show. Right about that one. Because Georgia was favored by 7 points. And I said, I don't need no damn points. LSU's going to win the game. Other game I picked, Iowa State over West Virginia. West Virginia. Okay, I see your top 4. I'll give you my top 4 in just a minute when I give you the top 10. Pick that game right too. Michigan, Wisconsin. Told everybody which Michigan was going to drown Wisconsin. They took them behind the woodshed and did bad, mean things to them. Like that wasn't fair. They needed to do something else. The last game I picked was USC over Colorado. Game still going on right now, but it's a burrito. It is wrapped up. There is 0 chance Colorado is coming back and winning this game. Not happening. What else happened? Yeah, so you had a bunch of teams lose today that weren't as good as they as everybody portrayed them to be. And I find it interesting because when Florida was down to Vanderbilt today, one of the biggest arguments I heard was, oh my God, look at the strength of the SEC. Oh my God, look at it. It's a gauntlet. You got to come in and fight every week. But then when Utah beat Stanford a week ago, all you heard on the Twitter machine was, oh my God, there's no way. The Pac-12 is so soft. Man, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like it's so biased that it's insane. I mean, the fact that Wisconsin was still ranked so highly after having played nobody, lost to BYU, who lost to Cal, is outstanding to me. Like, it is just so completely biased toward the SEC and away from the Pac-12. It is like frustrating at times, and that's why Penn State lost. They hadn't played anybody. The only thing that they had going for them was a close loss against Ohio State. And when you think about Ohio State, Oregon State didn't even play Ohio State bad. They didn't even have their quarterback. Wisconsin, we just went over them. Auburn. See, this is why I don't like preseason rankings. Because Auburn played Washington. Washington really should have won that game. They gave it away in the end. Browning didn't do anything special, made a couple dumb errors during the game, and they lost the game. So someone said the Pac-12 is soft, but it's a step below the other Power 5 conferences. No, there's no chance that that's the truth. The Pac-12, the next comment though, the Pac-12 does need better refs. There is nothing more frustrating for a college football fan. I can't even imagine if you're an SEC fan, ACC fan, Big Ten fan, and you're watching a Pac-12 game. You're like, what the hell is going on here? And then this last week when you found out there was like some USC collusion going on, you're like, what the hell is going on? I mean, it's frustrating. And if you are a Pac-12 fan, there is nothing more ridiculous than that. John Thebes, what's up, man? Thanks for loving the show. Make sure you share it with a friend. And you guys, if you guys did not see, I already announced the winners for the DGDU shirts. We will have some for the other schools in the Pac-12 as well, so you guys can join in. Have to troll the Husky fans just a little bit, but I want to announce the top 10 right now. The Unafraid Show college football top 10 for this week. Unveiling it right now with you guys. The article will be up on Unafraid Show after we get off the Periscope, the YouTube, wherever you're watching, Facebook right now, or you're listening on the podcast. The number one team in the nation, and still the number one team in the nation, is I have Alabama. They still haven't played a tough schedule. And I know that there are the three criteria that I say that I base the rankings off of. That's quality wins, schedule, and dominance. Someone said, what is the Pac-12's best out-of-conference win? There aren't a whole lot of out-of-conference wins for anybody right now because you have the top teams in the country unwilling to play non-conference games, which is tough non-conference games, home and homes, which is absolutely ridiculous. When does Auburn, Alabama play LSU? I think in 2 weeks. So Alabama is number one. They should be concerned because they dominated and destroyed Missouri, but they suffered a casualty. Their most important player right now is Tua Tagovailoa, their quarterback. He has turned, first time Nick Saban has had a dynamic playmaker at quarterback, and this kid is electric, and he went down today in the third quarter. They allegedly said he could have came back, but I in no sort of way. I do not believe that that nobody around Alabama is afraid because he already had a sprained knee coming in the game. And, I just don't know. Someone said they love Alabama, that they like Alabama by a touchdown. LSU by a touchdown over Alabama. I'm not buying that if Tua is healthy. I mean, LSU's defense is good, but I'm not buying it. So, Alabama is in the 1 seed. Number 2, which changed from last week, because number 2, Notre Dame was sitting in the 2 seed. And I have been praising Ian Book, all of that. They ran into Pitt today, and they ran into a buzzsaw. If Pitt had like a couple more playmakers, they would have won this game. So the new number 2 team in the Unafraid Show top 10 is Ohio State. Ohio State, there is something special about this Ohio State defense in the second half, whether it's Greg Schiano making adjustments at halftime, whatever it is, they're doing a fantastic job after halftime because teams are throwing everything at the book in them. One thing you always have to remember is when you're a really good team, people throw everything at you. So you have to be able to weather the storm in the first half, and the good teams win in the second half, and that's what Ohio State is doing. They have Campbell and Hill, their wide receivers. They can literally go to the house every single time they touch it. Ohio State's got a ton of athletes. That's why they're in the number 2 spot. And Dwayne Haskins, their quarterback, had another 400-yard, 3-touchdown day. Number 3, Notre Dame. I have to give them credit for all the wins that they do have. They struggled today. But they got the win. Somebody said that Ohio State struggled today. No, Ohio State did not struggle today. Just what I said. They had a tough first half. Minnesota put up a fight, and then it was a dominating second half. Number 4, Clemson. They had a bye week this week. Like, there wasn't any real movement for them because, even though they had a bye week, because Penn State, who was in the top 10, lost. You had, who else was in the top 10 last week that lost? You had Penn State, West Virginia, who was in the top 10 that lost. Yeah, and Washington and Georgia. So there wasn't going to be a whole lot of movement for them as well. So Clemson staying at number 4. They got a bye week. Trevor Lawrence should be back fully healthy. They get NC State this week. And NC State is a completely underrated team. Under no circumstances, do not believe or be surprised if NC State, with their quarterback Finley, who's really good, and he's an NFL caliber quarterback. He could be the 2nd or 3rd best quarterback in this draft class. If Clemson loses this week, do not be surprised because Dave Doran's a good coach. They've got a good team. Number 5, Texas. Texas was number 5 last week. Texas fans, they thought I was going to jinx them. Thought I was going to jinx them by having them at number 5. But no, they took down Oklahoma. They earned it. They took down Oklahoma. They beat USC, beat TCU. They've beat some good teams. They had Baylor this week, and they suffered a casualty as well. Sam Ehlinger, their quarterback, he likes to run the football. He sprained his AC joint today in his shoulder, and that's not a good look for Texas. But they have a bye, so he should be fine when they come back. Number 6, Florida. People were in love. Like, they were trying to say that LSU is the best team in the country right now. All of that. But they lost to Florida a week ago. So how in the hell am I supposed to put them in front of Florida? Nope. Cannot do it. Oh, but back to Texas, though. Their defense showed up because they did not score another point after halftime. And they still won the football game. And that's tough to do, especially in the Big 12. So Florida, though, their quarterback, Felipe Franks, he's all right. But I just don't see this Florida team as a team that can win a championship, beat Alabama, or beat Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan even, like any of these teams. Their quarterbacks are better. I'm not sure how you can have Florida over Texas right now because I just don't see it. Because of schedule play, Texas has multiple quality wins. Florida does not. And they lost to Kentucky, who just lost last week. Number 7, I got LSU. LSU had a huge win today. And people are pointing to the fact that LSU has 3 top 10 wins. They're talking about Miami, Auburn, and Georgia. Here's the thing about Miami and Auburn is Miami and Auburn aren't even going to be in the top 25 next week. So you can't call them top 10 wins. They're unranked teams. Auburn lost to Tennessee. So I'm not getting ready to sit here and act like that LSU is some magical team. Yet they're really good. They beat Georgia, who's untested and unproven. Let's not overreact to the situation. But I do want to give Coach Orgeron, credit for winning games, for doing what people said he could not do. Good job, Coach O. Number 8, we got Oregon. We got the Ducks coming in at number 8. They've been next up for a little bit, and I've been trying to tell everybody. Oregon fans are like, "Oh, we're so close. Why don't we in the top 10?" The Ducks didn't have any quality wins until this week. Big game against the Huskies, Huck the Fuskies. I remain civil all week. Don't get mad at me now. Listen, it's a rivalry game. If you're too sensitive to hear that every now and then you gotta, this Unafraid show is not the right place for you. Because people troll me, tease me all the time. If Oregon wins, loses, all of that, you just gotta wear it, man. You just gotta wear it. Like, this is college football. The trolling is great. Number 9. Oh, someone said, where the Lions go? Because I used to have a picture of the Lions in the back. That's in a different room. I got a whole different setup now. But one day I may make the Lions make an appearance. Number 9, I got Michigan. They were not ranked last week because they finally got a quality win. The best thing up until this week on Michigan's resume was a loss to Notre Dame. I'll answer your question. What was my favorite moment playing against UW? I'll answer that question in a minute. But I will say Shea Patterson is saving Jim Harbaugh right now. His offense was looking stale. People were questioning whether he was the guy, whether he was overrated, overpaid, and everything else. Shea Patterson is helping him out. This Michigan team is on defense. They are fantastic. Offensively, they can be shut down some. They just lean on you. Like, they shut you down on defense, and then they just lean on you offensively. They play a lot like Alabama does. Just lean on you, except for Alabama has much more dynamic athletes. I think Michigan should be ahead of Oregon. That defense is for real. Okay, think about it. When you look at Michigan's schedule, you look at Oregon's schedule. Who has a better win? Oregon over Washington or Michigan over Wisconsin? You got to say Oregon at this point in time because neither one of them has any other quality wins at this point in time. Sorry. Central Florida is at number 10. They were number 9 last week. They barely escaped Memphis. Memphis is all right. They're 4-2 right now, I think, but like, this is not a world beater team. And there is no team that people are rooting harder against than Central Florida. Everybody wants Central Florida to lose at this point in time because they can mess up the playoffs. Because how much chaos would ensue and screaming unfair social college football justice warriors coming out and saying, well, they've won 25 straight games. You won't put them in the playoffs. Everybody wants UCF to lose at this point in time. Someone said, I didn't know UCF won until about 9 p.m. Listen, man. I mean, it wasn't exactly a riveting victory. So that's the top 10. And the teams that are closing in on the top 10 at this point in time are, you got Oklahoma, who, if their defense is fixed, they are one of the best teams in the country. They have the best wide receiver core in the entire country. Second best is Ohio State. You got Georgia coming up, Washington, and NC State. Yes, because everybody thought I was crazy for saying that West Virginia wasn't as good as other people said they were. They weren't. Did you see the Kansas game? They damn near lost. Damn near lost. Same thing with Auburn, Wisconsin. Listen, George was right. You guys have to listen to the Unafraid show. And every Thursday, you guys do not forget, every Thursday. Yeah, UCF is the national championship, is the national champions just as much as Oregon was in 2001 when we destroyed Colorado in the Rose Bowl. No, I mean the Fiesta Bowl. There's an article up, everything you need to know about the Pac-12 before the games start. You guys make sure you guys check that out on Thursdays. Also, make sure you also check out, I'll be posting a lot of the Pac-12 stats and the national stats on my Twitter at George Reister and at Unafraid Show during the week. You guys make sure that you guys check those out. Now we're going to get to the Pac-12. If you have any questions, send them in. You know I'll get to them. I want to get to the Pac-12 real quick. So the USC-Colorado game is mercifully over. Colorado got it a little bit closer. They finished up 20-31, and they finally lost their first game. I picked against Colorado this week, and they were given 7 points. I knew Colorado was a fraud. Somebody said, I told you so. I said I was not going to believe in Colorado until they won a game against a decent opponent. And then they played USC this week and they lost. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Like that, I can't I can't believe in something that hasn't shown me anything. Colorado had beaten Colorado State, Nebraska, New Hampshire, UCLA, and Arizona State. I'm supposed to believe that that you're supposed to be, like the teams that you beat had a combined record of even this week included 6-30. So yeah, and they got exactly what we thought that they were gonna get. Laviska Shenault, he got hurt in the game. He went out, and they had no chance after that. And Steven Montez is not the kind of guy to get it done like that. I will say, though, that for USC, this win was vital, but it still wasn't impressive. It was vital for Clay Helton. Because if they had lost to Colorado and fallen to 3-3, the people would have been at the gates with the pitchforks. They would have been trying to kick them off the bus like they did Lane Kiffin. So you have to respect USC for winning it. They just have too many athletes. They just out-athleted Colorado today. It wasn't like they were anything special or spectacular. They just out-athleted Colorado today. And JT Daniels threw another 2 picks in the beginning of the game. That's no bueno, buddy. We got UCLA Cal. I told y'all. Oh, Kenny Farr. He said, I told you about these Duckies way back in July. I will get to the Ducks in just a second after I get to this, after I get through the UCLA Cal game. You guys, thank you guys for staying with me. UCLA Cal. I told y'all UCLA was going to get a win this week. I said it. I called it. You guys, UCLA they're getting better. They still can't throw the ball great, but now they can run the football. Chip Kelly figured it out. He broke through the code. And Cal's quarterback situation is not good. They have a running back at quarterback in Brandon McElwain. Threw another 2 picks today. Didn't throw any touchdowns. Last week threw 3 picks. That's just not the deal. No, I was not at the spring game. So UCLA, I think at this point in time, the way that they can run the football, and they did it against a good run defense today, I think they'll finish up with 3 games. I think they'll probably beat either one or both of the Arizona schools. Yeah. So we got, and we went over the Arizona-Utah game the other day, but I'll just hit it quickly. What the hell is going on in Utah? They scored 40 points 2 weeks in a row. Have they turned the corner? No. Utah is still fool's gold. They have not. They scored 40 points against 2 bottom-tier Pac-12 defenses in Stanford and against Utah. I'm sorry, against Stanford and Arizona. They give up a ton of points. So that's just the truth. Their quarterback, Tyler Huntley, he's all right. Their running back, Zach Moss, he's pretty good. But this is not an explosive offensive team. Their defense is where it's at. I want to get to the Washington-Oregon game. Kenny Farr told me about the Ducks earlier in the year. I was trying to temper expectations for everybody who had been asking me. When I put out the Pac-12 preview, everybody laughed at me when I said Oregon was going to win the conference. They laughed at me when I said that they were going to finish 11-1. Everybody laughed at me. But now where's everybody at now? And then I will credit the little birdie as well, told me about C.J. Verdell, the young man. So you always have to give people credit when they bounce back from adversity. He fumbled at the end of the Stanford game, and then he took the carry today to win the game against Washington. You know who that reminded me of? If you're an Oregon fan, you know who that reminded me of. The Black Mamba, the Anthony Thomas. Remember way back to the game against Auburn. I think he fumbled 2 or 3 times in his first game. And what happened after that? What happened after that? Came back to be a baller. Didn't have any more terrible games like that. Somebody asked a question. They said, if Oregon were to lose one more, who would it be to? If Oregon is going to lose again, if Oregon is going to lose again, the only place that would be to would be to Washington State, I believe, is because Washington State playing in Corvallis, it's a tough game. It's a tough game. It is a hostile environment. There is a lot of stuff going on in Pullman that makes it tough. Weather could be a factor, but I think that if Oregon, that was not Auburn that he had that DeAnthony Thomas had all the fumbles. It was against LSU when we had on the dark uniforms that were dope. I remember that. My bad. So it's coming off an emotional win like Oregon just had against Washington. Washington beat them 38-3 last year. Year before that, put up 70. I mean, just embarrassed the Ducks. And wasn't it fitting that they get a heartbreaker today? Didn't it just feel like justice? Didn't it just feel good if you were an Oregon fan to like see the life ripped out of them? It did. It did feel good to just see Washington fans in the surrender cobra after the missed field goal. Just felt good. Felt good. I must admit, I don't hate Washington. I despise Washington. Well, but if you notice all week though, I have been honest and objective about the Huskies, about how good they are. I've been calling them the best defense in the Pac-12 and the number 2 defense in the country, especially if you take away that UCLA game, because they didn't play particularly well there at all. So that is the top 10. That is the Pac-12 preview. Somebody asked me a question. They asked me a question. They said, how do you feel? What's your favorite Oregon versus Washington memory? Interestingly enough, I was on the Ducks for 4 years. But remember, you have to remember that during that was still when it was the Pac-10. And you didn't play everybody every year. So off of our schedule, there were different teams. And Washington was off the schedule for some reason. And then we only played I never played in Seattle at Washington. I never played at Washington, and I never played at Stanford, which is weird, right? Never played at either one of those places, but I played in Pullman 3 times. Go figure. So I didn't really have a whole lot of favorite Washington memories, but I had a terrible one. my last game against the Washington was when Reggie Williams went off. Kenny just asked, would I tell the story about mopping up the USC players during pregame? Okay. So when we played against USC, I think it was, I don't remember what year it was. I'll answer the question about Justin Herbert coming back in a second. We were playing against USC in Eugene. USC decides that they want to like stomp on the O, kind of like stretch, warm up on the O, and we weren't going to have that. We were just not going to have that. Like, it just was not going down. And I remember we got in a big fight, in a big melee before the game. It was awesome. And then we went out and kicked USC's ass, which made it even better. Loved it, dude. Like, I remember playing in Alton and the crowd and the electricity. Like, it's become a place that is just magical. And that's why Oregon hosted the #1 recruit in the nation this year, today. And he's from probably 5 miles from where I'm sitting right now. He goes to Oaks Christian. His name is Thibodeau. His last name, big defensive end. And he moved up his recruit. He said he was going to move up his recruiting announcement after today's game. So you know what that means. That means he's probably turning down Alabama, Florida State, USC, and Florida to come to the Ducks. I like that. And I will say, though, Mario Cristobal put his stamp on the Oregon program today. He has been physical. Like, the team is built upon physicality. The team is built upon execution and stopping all the damn penalties, man. Like, there's nothing more frustrating than watching a game with all the penalties like Oregon used to have. Hell no, I wouldn't hide behind no water cooler. But the question about Justin Herbert, people wonder, they keep asking me, is Justin Herbert coming back? They say, oh, he wants to graduate. He wants to play with his brother, this and that. Okay, here's what I know about players. Here's what I know about Justin Herbert. Here's what I know about life. Is that there's part of Justin Herbert that for sure wants to graduate. That probably thinks it's a great, cool idea that he may get to play with his brother. But you got to remember, his brother might end up redshirting. Like, you just never know. So, yes, it'd be nice to play with his brother, graduate and all that stuff. But at the same time, you know, when them NFL dollars start calling, they start calling loud. But do I think he's going to come back? I think that there's a chance. I think that if Oregon is, well, I'll go here. It depends on how important a national championship it is to him, because he's from Eugene, and as big as Marcus Mariota is to the Oregon's history and to the Oregon program, Justin Herbert has the potential to unseat. I know this is going to sound like blasphemy to so many people. He's going to have the opportunity to unseat Marcus Mariota as Oregon's most famous, most beloved player. Why? Because he's from Eugene. Yeah, I know John Elway was at the Oregon-Washington game, and so was 9 other teams there watching Justin Herbert. But if Justin wants to be a legend, which he can be, he can come back, possibly win a Heisman Trophy, and bring a national championship as well. Boy, oh boy, that would be insane. I mean, it would. I mean, like, imagine all the stuff that's done for Marcus now. Like, Marcus is like the most beloved player. I didn't think that there would ever be anybody to unseat Joey Harrington, but Marcus came was like, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me. And that's what Justin Herbert would do to Marcus Mariota. Someone said, who do I think is going to play in the Pac-12 championship game? USC and Washington? No. Washington doesn't have a leg up right now. Because if Washington beats Stanford, which I think they will, then Oregon is in the driver's seat. All Oregon has to do is win all the rest of their games. Like, they're in a good position right now. John Elway can't pick a quarterback, though. Hey, here's the thing about John Elway is I criticized him because his offensive picks in the draft have been horrible his entire career. Defensive picks, great. That's why when he picked Royce Freeman, I was like, oh, well, his career shot. Because history told me that he picks players that don't work out. But man, Royce Freeman is playing well, thank God. But I would like to see Justin come back, though. I think that he could do some great things. I think he would get better. I think he would help himself financially. I think he would help the state of Oregon, the team. But I will tell you this. I love where the team is trending. You might as well call Oregon, Alabama West at this point in time with the way that they play, the physicality, the recruiting. Because if Oregon gets Thibodeau, that's going to put them up to probably the number 2 class in the country. And then they'll probably land another big fish too. And if you can continuously put recruiting classes like that together, do you know what that means? Like, there are stats that prove this. I think it's if you have 2 top 6 classes within like 4 or 5 years, then like those are the only teams that are winning national championships. Teams with top 6 recruiting classes. So, so the Ducks are on track right now. Hey, you guys, thank you guys for joining me on Unafraid Show. Don't forget, I will be sending out some of the DGDU shirts for all the Duck fans. Don't get ducked up. You guys join in the fun. And join in the fun. Tell a friend about the Unafraid Show. Don't forget to go to unafraidshow.com. We got a bunch of great articles that'll be up today in just a few minutes after we get off. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Catch you guys on Monday.